Well, thanks for joining me, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your day. It's a nice opportunity to get a chance to talk to you guys. And basically, really, what I'm going to do is introduce Moviebill. And I will kind of go through a little bit of what we are, and then I'll have a little bit more fun and kind of just present and demo the product for you in general. So, Moviebill is brand new. We just launched in April with our Infinity War issue. And so the easiest way to describe what Moviebill is if you went to go see Hamilton on Broadway and you gave your ticket, you would be handed your Hamilton playbill. So not too dissimilar from that. When you go see Infinity War or when you go see Jurassic World on opening weekend at a Regal Cinema, you hand your ticket over, you will be handed your Jurassic World or your corresponding Moviebill. And so we'll be doing one a month in general. It's always tied to the release of the film. Regal Cinema is our launch partner. So for now, if you did want to get one of these, you need to go on opening weekend. You would need to go to a Regal. They are a collectible item. Happy to show you guys after the fact, but it is, very high-end print. It's very consolidated to just be 28 pages. And the reason I'm here today is because augmented reality is a very intrinsic part of our product. So not only is this a print magazine, but we call it connected print. Because every page actually will produce some kind of AR experience. Not always 3D. There was a lot of 3D that we were able to leverage. Disney was extremely generous with some beautiful looking assets that we were able to decimate, get them to work properly on mobile, which is always kind of that balancing act. You want it to look good, but you also want it to be, you don't want it to blow up people's phones. And so every page does something unique. Our app works as a standalone app, but we did decide to embed ourselves in the Regal Cinema app just for attribution. They have at the time they had over 8 million downloads. They have over 9 now. So we had a user base on day one. It also gives us a great distribution model because basically, formatting got screwed up. Let me go back to that. What that's supposed to say is that we have 1 million circulation per issue. There are 9 million downloads. About 70% of the entire book is editorial. So it is very limited as far as ads. But we are a typical magazine where it's ad sales based, and every ad is interactive as well. And so we're seeing pretty huge engagement. Let me a little sneak peek of what you can expect. I don't know if there's sound or not available, but might as well use the Infinity War soundtrack when you have it available. And so you can see every page is doing something unique. That's 2D, not everything is 3D. That's our sneak peek issue that came out just prior to the Infinity War. That's our Moviebill robot. And you can see we did a lot of game ads, had a Geico ad, each one of them basically, again, leveraging the connected print. But being strategic. So the idea is not, to have a tech for tech's sake or have it as some type of gimmick. It's basically to extend the movie. The movie doesn't have to end. So if you want, multimedia content, this is a very easy and quick way for you to get it off a physical piece. And then in my background, I've been doing AR for about, I guess the first big thing I did was for Sports Illustrated and Lexus back in 2010 for their March Madness issue. And very similar, you would scan the cover of that magazine and it was little tiles and you could play videos. It was very cutting edge at the time, but it was a little laughable in comparison to what we can do now. But this, again, every page is interactive, and so what we're seeing is some pretty amazing interaction rates. So as I said before, Regal is our launch partner. We will be expanding in year 2 once the exclusivity ends. But for now, Regal is our exclusive partner. Again, these opening movie weekend moviegoers are really, from an ad sales point of view, this is who people are trying to get to. And again, they're out, they've dressed up, they're basically going to be entertained. And so again, not too surprisingly, we saw that people did engage, and when they did engage, they engaged very heavily. And again, it's because you're telling them how to interact, you're giving them content that they're going to want, and you're giving it to them at a time when they're open to receiving it. And again, this audience that we have, the Moviebill audience, again, is heavily sought after. So So I'll get into our first real issue, which was, like I said, Infinity War. And again, so we built this we used Vuforia for the AR, basically to use image recognition and to display the AR. We use Unity as the foundation for the app itself. So we're not trying to create proprietary technology. We're leveraging what we deem to be the best technology out there to do what we're looking to do. We've had great partnership with them in putting that together. And we are all the way through using Google on the back end for data analytics. So again, just trying to build an infrastructure and a platform that can be leveraged here in the film business. It could move into other industries for that matter as well. But as you can see, the engagement was, I would say through the roof, really. It had been far superior than any of the campaigns that I had been privy to in the past. But again, with 1 million physical print circulation, we had nearly over a 2.5 times scan rate. We had 2.5 million scans. That's still going. So we see that the lifespan of this magazine, it doesn't just spike on opening weekend and people throw it away. We're seeing people interacting with it right now. Average of 4 minutes of dwell time, and that's per session. And we were seeing people come back to the book at least 3 times. So you're seeing a very large amount of time being spent within this magazine. The impression that comes from Regal, and that's more about our brand marketing that was within the lobbies. We had a commercial that was playing before all the movies in front of the screens. And then the one stat that blew me away was a 10% click-through rate. And that was across every page. Not everything had a click-through, but when it did, including the ads, it was, I'm not even kidding, and for days I wanted to make sure it was correct. And we did verify it that it was correct. And so again, we blew their hair back with some AR and then became very strategic with our advertisers and even with our own editorial content where we could drive them to our site. If it was a 5-minute video, you don't want to be watching it like this. So again, it's not AR for the sake of AR. We're leveraging AR when it's the right thing to do, and we'll leverage mobile web when it's the right way to give that experience. And again, like I said, we're tracking all the data on the back end. So we do have great visibility and some great understanding, and that's something that we can provide to our advertisers as well. And this gives you a little bit of one piece of the data that we're seeing, which is always kind of the fun part to look at, is just where people are interacting. And it doesn't mean that nobody in New Mexico or Montana were interacting. It was just not with as much regularity to get the hot spots. And then just an example of the type of movies that we're going to be doing upcoming. And so here's a couple of examples of movies you should keep an eye out for. And that is it. So what I'll do now is I'll switch over and I'll kind of just show you guys live just some of the pages. And then I'll open it up to questions. And yeah, please. I'll use a flashlight. So I'll even demo how, if you don't have lights, how you can do it. How about that? There we go. Okay. So again, we're embedded in the Regal app. So you would open the Regal app. I'm in airplane mode, so nobody texts me while I'm demoing up here. And then again, our reticle opens. Takes a minute to load. A few seconds, and then let me turn my thing on here. And again, here, let me turn my sound on. And so again, you can see it's instantly recognizing it. It gives you a little bit of a freeze frame, action scene. Had the underscore in here. So it's interesting to see how many people decided that they wanted to be the director of photography, and that's kind of what we were musing about internally. So people were, recording this and taking photos, and then, ultimately it's very quickly you can go ahead and share that across networks or save it to your phone. And so we saw a very high interactive rate and a very high share rate. And so here's an example of something. This was interesting when I was watching the BMW presentation earlier, and they were talking about, Tango and, not a lot of devices and scalability. Here's an example of a company called Tangerine that made a Google Tango app for the Black Panther movie. And, one of those things, nobody has a Tango device, and so probably 5 people saw it. But, there was a big investment in this. As you can imagine, that's not a small thing to pull off a motion cap 3D thing. So we said, why don't you repurpose it here? And it worked extremely well. Again, this was one of the highest scanned pages, in part because of the placement, but in part because of the strong call to action too. This one's a lot of fun. So we will have an intro every book. In this case, we were lucky enough to get Groot to welcome you. And so again, you can see that our team does tremendous work. And so again, there's that balancing act of making it look very high end. So Disney gives us the thumbs up and it gets approved. And then also, that it's small enough so that, the user can get to it quickly and all that. So again, every page does something different. I won't go through every single page here. But again, sometimes we're leveraging video, and we call this kind of the Harry Potter effect, where it just instantly will start to move. And then the idea here is this ultimately is a Marvel Strike Force game ad. So we said, let's give them a little tidbit of what the game is, get to make people excited about it, and make it very seamless where you can click, and it takes you automatically to their game. And then we're tracking attribution, so we can tell them how many people actually click through, and we can give them full visibility on that. Again, this is something just a little digital page replace here, simply to drive, interactive content. This was one of the most heavily interacted pages, as you can imagine, much like a playbill. It's about cast, so you can have this little interactivity, get more about them, and then you could tap out. I'm not going to do it. It'll tap you out, and it'll take you to IMDb, which was our partner on that. But then, again, digital page replaces just for fun. The idea is, I always say there's the wow moment, which is this, and then there is the main event. So in this case, the main event is also the wow moment. So it's like, wow, I get to see the gauntlet in 3D, and I can zoom in on it. I can really understand what the story behind it is. So again, I'll age myself, and I always say if there was one for Rocky IV, I would probably still have one in my garage. What's that? Is it good? Yeah.
I want to touch it.
Oh, you do? Yeah. No, it's. I mean, again, we were really lucky that we got the assets from Disney. So this is actually what they put on Josh Brolin's hand. And again, so this I think was a great use of AR. So there's not enough room on the page to really drill in. It's kind of again, just a fun way to deliver some information, and that's something again where people were taking pictures of this and sharing it with pretty high regularity. I think you guys get the idea. And then again, not everything has to be AR per se. I mean, this is an AR, it's an image recognition, and it's doing a digital page replace. It's 2D. It's ultimately a video is really what's happening there. But then here again, I forgot I was on airplane mode. But that would normally click through, and it takes us to a trivia game, which we'll repurpose every movie. And so basically, guys, like I said, it was really just to kind of introduce how we're using AR, and the success that we basically have had, in this particular space. So that is my spiel, and I'm sticking to it. So thanks, everybody. I don't know if there's any questions. Yeah. How much is it for one of these magazines? They come with your ticket. So, and some level it's meant to be exclusive. I mean, we are shipping 1 million of them. Our average circulation will be 1 million physical copies. But the idea is if you don't get there early, on Infinity War, most locations were sold out on Friday night. I mean, they were out. So yeah, you have to kind of get there early. Interestingly, I guess you can buy one on eBay now. There's a secondary market that's been created over the last couple of weeks, and there's some people that are posting them. I think the going rate's about $30. How accurate do you get is that from accurate to get in centimeters? I think that must be like from an image recognition point of view. I could ask one of my devs, and he could probably give you a better answer. As far as exact centimeters, what it's doing is hopefully this addresses the question. What we're doing is the image recognition is seeing the dynamic information within the image. So if you guys saw the old QR codes back in the day, it's basically, we're just seeing the image itself, so we don't need the code. So it's seeing that image, and then it goes, oh, all right, that's the Infinity War cover. So then it'll deliver like, oh, that's supposed to give you Thanos and Iron Man. Are you only working with movies, or have you worked in live theater? We have not worked in live theater. At a previous company, I talked to Playbill for 20 meetings or something like that, and never happened. But yeah, I think what we're doing is we're building a platform. Like I said, it's a connected print augmented reality platform, and so it could easily translate to other. I think it's where people are going and congregating. It could be the program for AWE for that matter. How did you get Disney to give you their assets? We asked very nicely and sent them flowers. No, they see the value in it. Again, I think the studios are getting better about understanding is they're not siloed, it's not theatrical and home entertainment and games and all that. So if you look in our book, you'll see there's game ads that are Marvel and Disney. So again, it was a great way to build some extra hype, and then honestly drive some ancillary goals that they had. I mean, they didn't really need our help with Infinity War. That movie was going to make a ton of money regardless. But again, it was something great alpha fan-wise that they can take home. Yeah.
So I have a 7-year-old son.
Yes.
He would go crazy for this.
Yes.
Are you guys looking at branching out to other industries like education?
Yeah, we would love to. Actually, it's I don't know how much I can talk about. We are working on something with Scholastic. So yeah. When are you going outside of the U.S.? Probably sooner rather than later. It was initially our second year was the plan, but Cineworld bought Regal, and they're based in the U.K., so we will be expanding there more quickly than initially planned. Yeah.
Hey, my name is Lex. I'm a developer from New York.
Hi.
Thank you for what you're doing. I mean, you're really pushing the industry forward, embedding it within their app, having this great IP. What do you look for at a conference like this? Like for you, what are some of the challenges you have?
I mean, for me here, it's something that I've been doing this for a long time. So it's like when these guys called me and pitched me this, it was I kicked myself that I didn't think of it up on my own, for one. But then I was like, it was such a great opportunity that I thought, again, you're giving them the right content at the right time, and we have this platform. So part of what I'm here is there are a lot of developers, there's a lot of content creators that are here that are making great content, like Black Panther, for instance. That was an amazing piece of content that unfortunately not a lot of people saw, but now a lot of people did see that. So that's something where I want to go talk to the BMW guys and say, why don't you do an ad and we'll bring your thing to life out of our app and drive them to yours, and so it's again that's the idea. Have you applied tech? Okay, creating experiences for any other type of content. I think I addressed both of those.
Any other questions from the audience?
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, so Jurassic World is next. So that is June 22nd. What's that? I have a few. I have a couple. I can give out a few. Yeah.
One question right here.
My colleague at Euphoria actually has a few of them too. We have more questions, or are we done?
I have the mic in my hand here.
Right here.
Right here.
Oh, right.
How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I know you answered this question, but as the partnership with Regal and your once the expiration date happens and you no longer are confined by just being in an app, do you want to start thinking about interacting with this kind of content on the web and all the capabilities that are available?
I think
there?
browser-based AR is interesting. I mean, it's definitely something that we have on our horizon. I don't know how realistic it is in the ultra near term to pull that off, but I think that's probably ultimately where I think everybody will go, and that's certainly I think the next step for us is we need to brand as Moviebill, and everybody here, when you know what a Moviebill experience is, then I think then it'll be much easier for us to kind of take that and just make it its own thing. But for us, I felt like it was a good strategic move, again, to partner with Regal. It helped us on the distribution end for one, and then two, it also just right off the bat, you have a multi-million users. It helps.
Okay. One more final question back here also.
Hi, quick question for you. Did the publication that you put this augmented reality in already exist, or was it a special publication that was created for augmented reality? And also, if they didn't have the app, is it available other than being embedded in the Regal app?
Okay, yeah, good question. So we're exclusively embedded in the Regal app now. Our app does work as a standalone app, but like I said, we're not looking to do it in that way. Like when we expand to other exhibitors, then we will do the same strategy. We'll embed ourselves in theirs. And like I said kind of earlier, probably browser-based is I think when the industry kind of breaks away from app-based stuff, and I think we'll probably be part of that.
Okay. That's